Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Nasrin Padasalai. In today's video, we are going to discuss few answers for the questions asked for GATE Biotechnology 2021. I have placed a video in my YouTube channel regarding the answers for few particular questions in my part 1 video. If you didn't watch that video, then please go and watch that. So with no delay, let's get into the video. And these questions are not officially released. They are memory based questions, and with which I collected and I found answers for all those questions, and I am posting you for your information. So, which RNA polymerase is involved in transcription of ribosomal RNA? Is a question asked, and it is one of the easiest question in the GATE Biotechnology paper. As you all know, GATE Biotech 2021 is the toughest paper. You all know. So, this question has also been asked in CSIR 2020 exam, and the correct answer is that RNA polymerase 1 is a polymerase which is involved in the transcription of ribosomal RNA. And another RNA, apart from this, RNA poly 1 transcribe larger ribosomal RNAs. Okay. And RNA polymerase 3 will transcribe small ribosomal RNA. You all know there are two subunits in ribosomal RNA, larger subunit and a smaller subunit. Okay, and RNA polymerase 2 is transcribing our mRNA, microRNA, small nuclear RNA, small nuclear RNA, and RNA4 and RNA5 are involved in plants and they are involved in transcribing small interfering RNA. So this you should definitely know. It may come in your DBT bed examination or your CSIR examination. So among the following, which is not a protein, and it is highly confusing one because if we know the actual definition for all, apoprotein is a protein and which is devoid of its characteristic prosthetic group or metal. It is just a protein part of the enzyme, this apoprotein. So absolutely this is a protein. Haloprotein is nothing but it is a conjugated protein and it is an apoprotein when combines with prosthetic group is called as holoprotein. So and this is also a protein. Lipoprotein. Lipoprotein are nothing but they are macromolecular complexes which is composed of both lipids as well as protein. And the main role of this lipoprotein is that they carry the cholesterol throughout the bloodstream. So I think it is a multiple select question. So which is not a protein, I think it might be a lipoprotein. I think so because holoprotein and apoprotein are nothing but they are protein, whereas apoprotein is just a protein and it doesn't have prosthetic group. When in this apoprotein binds with a metal, it forms a holoprotein. So let's wait for the official question paper being released and we can discuss this question further. If you placed in correct answer, then hats off to you. Next thing is that I also got information that there is one question asked with respect to this plant growth hormone, which is very easy. And you all know auxin, the function of auxin and the function of ethylene is the thing they ask. And auxin is used for cell elongation in stem and it is used in a growth regulator. And also this auxin also has many other plant growth function and it is used in for callus differentiation and it is used for shoot growth like that. Okay, and ethylene is a gaseous hormone. First, you should know. Then it is involved in stress physiology, and it also responsible for fruit ripening. You all know if in markets and all they are using this ethylene only for fruit ripening, and it is a gas they will spray so that the fruit will get ripened. So these two are the answer for this plant growth hormone question. Next thing is that it is a kind of a NAT type of question, I think so, if I'm not wrong. NAT, they are having a SAL1 enzyme, which is a restriction enzyme, is given, and the probable number of times this enzyme will cleave a 9 kilobase per random DNA sequence is asked. So first you should know the SAL1 cutting site, and this SAL1 is a 6 base per enzyme cutting site. You should know that only then you can determine how many times the restriction site for this SAL1 will be present throughout the enzyme. Okay, so first you should know the frequency of cutting in random DNA sequence for a given restriction time once is 4 to the power of n. N means number of bases. Okay, number of bases in the restriction enzyme recognition sequence, which in a SAL has a 6 base per sequence. Okay, it will cut it a unique 6 sequence. Okay, just like our ECO or one HIND3 like that. So 4 means we have 4 possible nucleotide, that is guanine, adenine, thymine and cytosine. So you should 4 to the power of 6 is 4096. Okay, SAL has a 6 base pair recognition site, so they will cut 1 pair 4 to the power of 6, which means that the given restriction site for the SAL1 enzyme is present every 4096 base pair. Got it? Okay, if it is a 8 base pair cutter, then you should put 4 to the power of 8. Okay, and they had given in 9 kilobase per how many times this SAL1 restriction enzyme site is present. For that, you need to divide this 9 kilobase per to base per conversion. You need to multiply them with 1000. 9000 divided by 4096, and this is the answer. So, the number of times is around 2 times. This particular 4 base pair, 4 restriction enzyme site will be present. I hope you can be able to understand what I mean to say in this particular question. So consider this as your genomic sequences, and the genomic sequences, there are few things will be present. So this is your SAL1 restriction site. It is made up of 6 base pairs, and they are asking how many times this unique sequence is present. And you are by finding, you know, it is present 2 times in the 9 kilobase per genome. So this is the correct answer. And if you got it correct, then hats off to you. Then they ask a question in hybridoma technology, and every time in DBT and GATE, they will definitely ask at least a question from this hybridoma technology. And I think they had this is a multiple select question, and they ask us which is an incorrect. You should know this hybridoma technology is generally used to produce monoclonal antibody technology. Okay, they will inject the specific antigen in mice, and they'll go for cell fusion. They'll fuse B cells and myeloma, and that's a big procedure. Maybe we'll get them separately in our another video. And it is generally used for producing monoclonal antibody. In question paper, I think they had given polyclonal antibody, which is absolutely wrong. Next thing is the separation technique. First thing, centrifugation. The separation is based on it is depend upon density differences, and also viscosity of the medium. Whereas filtration, it is based on size. Okay, when we transfer them into the porous material, this filtration will separate based on the size. Gel filtration chromatography is based on molecular weight, and this is asked from bioprocess technology, and I think this was asked in the form of match things, so if I'm not wrong, and this is a correct answer. Centrifugation is based on your density, and filtration is nothing but it is based on our size, and molecular weight, it is ultrafiltration chromatography. Okay, and we also have ultrafiltration based on the size. Next thing is that they asked one question in inversion also. The centromere is outside the inversion portion, then the inversion is said to be paracentric. There are two types of inversion, friends. One is paracentric inversion. Another one is pericentric inversion. Para, you know, paracentric. It means it is not the center. Say, you know, centromere is a portion present in the chromosome, and it is a short arm and this is a long arm if consider. And this arrow mark indicating this particular CDE is going to inverse in the genome, and it doesn't include centromere in it. So it is called paracentric. Centromere will be outside the area of inversion. What is meant by pericentric? Peri means center. So inversion spanning the centromere are called as pericentric. This type of inversion, see this arrow mark. So the segment B and C are going to invert, and it also include your centromere region. So this is a correct answer. So protein conformation analysis question was asked, and I had discussed them in the last video. So you should make yourself clear what the question is asked. CD is used for predicting the number of secondary structure like your alpha helix, beta sheet, random coil, and a tertiary structure of protein. This circular dichroism spectroscope. And NMR is used for structural characterization and dynamics of protein. NMR will work in the structural characterization and dynamics of protein. It doesn't work on secondary structure prediction. And the question should be asked in that way, like which technique is used for prediction of secondary structure and a tertiary structure of protein. Then CD will be the correct answer. And I couldn't able to get actual question. That's why I'm giving you this particular information. And I think they asked the question related to melatonin, serotonin, and tryptophan. So the precursor to this melatonin hormone is your serotonin, which is nothing but a neurotransmitter, and this serotonin precursor is amino acid tryptophan. Okay, the precursor of melatonin is serotonin, and the precursor of serotonin is your tryptophan. Okay, and in the pineal gland, this particular neurotransmitter will get acetylated and methylated to form melatonin hormone. And you all know that's why your parents are saying don't watch cell phone by switching off your light in the night time. It may disturb your cycle. Okay, it will disturb your biological cycle. Then Gramicidin A, the question was asked, and it is nothing but this antibiotic is a heterogeneous mixture and is made up of 3 antibiotics, that is A, B, C, and the ratio are given. And this Gramicidin is taken from a bacteria called Bacillus brevis, and this Gramicidin is a linear pentadecapeptide, and it is used generally for tropical antibiotics. Since it's a hemolytic, we can't give them as a tonic or everything because it will disrupt our blood vessels, everything. So it is given as a topical and is generally used for ophthalmologic solution preparation, and the major mechanism of action is that it will lead to membrane disruption and permeabilization. As a result, the loss of intracellular solute will be occur, the solute loss will be done, and there also transmembrane potential will be disturbed, and the respiration will be inhibited, and also ATP will get drained, and the DNA RNA protein synthesis will get disrupted. And this Gramicidin is generally used for against gram positive bacteria, since it works well with gram positive bacteria, and these are the thing, that mechanism of action of this Gramicidin. So next thing is that hypersensitivity. In last video I said that no question was asked in immunology portion, but sorry for that because this question was asked and it is very easy, and I had also posted a video in my YouTube channel regarding hypersensitivity reaction. So you all know there are 4 different types of hypersensitivity reaction. Type 1 is mediated by IgE. Okay, there the cross-linking will be done and your mast cell will lead to degranulation, which releases his vasoactive substances. An example is your anaphylaxis and an allergy. Type 2 is mediated by IgG and IgM, and here it is called antibody dependent cell mediated toxicity. Your antibody will be directed against the antigen, and with the help of antibody there is a cell mediated toxic effect. And the example is your blood transfusion reaction, erythroblastis fetalis, and autoimmune hemolytic anemia. I hope I have given a detailed explanation in my video. If you didn't watch, then please go and watch. Erythroblastis fetalis we had explained it correctly. Type 3 is for SLE and RA and serum sickness. Example for type 3 is systemic lupus erythematosus and rheumatoid arthritis and your serum sickness. Type 4 is tuberculin injection, graft rejection and your contact dermatitis. So these are the different questions asked in GATE Biotechnology 2021. Thank you.